To all of you, welcome to our session, welcome to our channel, Intelligible Tutorials. In this today's session, now I am going to give a short information regarding the available machine learning methods. So this video already I have given some introduction regarding the machine learning methods, but in this video I am going to give some brief introduction and some deeply going to some of the methods which are going to be introduced, which are going to be their most widely used machine learning mechanisms and machine learning methods in my video. Okay, so let us see the various kinds of machine learning methods here. Okay, so coming to the first one, what is the meaning of the machine learning actually? So in the past videos also we have seen the meaning of the machine learning is nothing but we are making the machines to learn, to acquire the new knowledge, to get the new information. That is nothing but the machine learning, to carry out certain task or to carry out certain problem for each and everything. Okay, and one more thing we need to remember here, the machine learning is a part and parcel of the artificial intelligence. It comes from artificial intelligence. It is a branch of artificial intelligence which is going to develop multiple number of the algorithms, and these algorithms tells us the behaviors of the computers, how they work on different kinds of the data, how the computers implements their own algorithms on different kinds of the data, because each and every algorithm behaves differently on different kinds of the data. So this is the machine learning. So what is the intelligence? Intelligence requires knowledge. It is necessary for the computers to acquire the knowledge. So it is going to be gathered some set of the knowledge to improve the intelligence, to improve intelligence algorithms, to respond to the data. Whatever data is printed according to the data, the output should be given by using these kind of machine learning algorithms. And finally, what is the meaning of the machine learning is it is a kind of ability to acquire the information, to acquire the knowledge from the data. Okay, so that is the machine learning. So another definition of the machine learning here, it is given as, we are going to develop a computer program. This particular computer program is going to learn from various kinds of the past experiences and some class of tasks and some performance measure, and this performance measure is improves with E. Okay, so experience, task, performance measure. Okay, so these are the various kinds of the information regarding the machine learning. Okay, so next we are going to see what are the various kinds of the machine learning, what are the various methods of the machine learning. Here, types of the machine learning is directly divided into three different types. The very first one is the supervised learning, and the second concept is the unsupervised learning, and third one is the semi-supervised learning. Okay, so first of all, we are going to discuss about supervised learning. So here already we are going to learning the data which is already labeled. That means the learning can be happen based on the label data. Such kind of the learning is called as the supervised learning. The very first example for such kind of the supervised learning is classification and as well as the regression. And sometimes we are going to access the data which is from unsupervised learning, which is called as unsupervised learning. Here we are going to access the data which is unlabeled, or it is not at all divided into some set of the labels. Such kind of the data is called as unsupervised learning, that is clustering and association rules. And the third one is semi supervised learning, which is a combination of supervised and as well as the unsupervised learning. Okay, so next we are going to discuss about the reinforcement learning. What is the reinforcement learning means? The agent is given a task. If that particular agent completes the task in a particular given amount of the time, then the agent will be rewarded, or else it will be redoing the same task. It is given as the punishment. What is the meaning of the punishment? Is redoing the same task again and again. That is called the reinforcement learning. And the next one is statistical learning. So the information that is gathering by using some statistical information or learning from the statistical information. This is also one kind of the supervised learning. And next one, inductive learning. This is also one kind of supervised learning. The very best example for this inductive learning is our decision tree learning. Decision tree learning is one kind of the inductive learning. And the next one is instance based learning. It is also one kind of the supervised learning. And ensemble learning is also one kind of supervised learning. What is the meaning of ensemble? Means the collection of various kinds of the classifiers. We are collectively working on different kinds of the classifiers to improve the performance of the all the classifiers at once. That is called the ensemble learning. The very best example for this ensemble learning are bagging, boosting, bootstrapping, etc. And next one is the deep learning. Deep learning is one of the emerging trend in the machine learning. It is also called as one kind of semi-supervised learning, which is in a combination of supervised and as well as the unsupervised learning. And the next one is where we are going to discuss about the classification. What is the meaning of the classification? As we have already seen, the meaning of the classification is we are gathering the data from the labeled classes. So mapping the data items into set of the Boolean classes. You are mapping the data items into some set of the classes, and these classes are the Boolean classes. Those are yes or no, 0 or 1, true or false, and get personal loan or not getting personal loan, and deceased or not at all deceased, and loan sanctioned or not loan sanctioned, etc., etc. So these are the various people get the placement or not getting the placements. Like that, you're mapping the entire data items into these two of the any one of the respective classes. Okay, so this is called as the supervised learning. Okay, so 60 number of the data items we are having here. 23 are getting the placements and not placements 25. So 12 are missed. These are called as the misclassified data. So among the 60 placements we are getting only 23, not getting placements is 25. So 23 plus 25 is what? 48. So what about remaining 12? These 12 are not at all classified. So such kind of the data is called as misclassified data. So how much data is perfectly classified here? 80% of the data is classified, but remaining 20% of the data is not classified. So you can calculate the percentage of the classification like this. Okay, so if you minus the misclassified data from the classified data, you will get the percentage of the classification. And next, we are going to discuss about the regression. What is the meaning of the regression? You are predicting the data item on a continuous scale. So here in the supervised learning, you did in the form of a set. The set is 0 comma sorry, the set is 0 comma 1. But the same thing you are predicting on a continuous scale, that is an interval, that is 0 comma 1, that is continuous 0, 0.0, 0, 0.1, 0, 0.2 till 1.0. So in this particular interval, you are pointing on any one of the continuous value here. Okay, so predicting a medicine that is 0.57 mg and 0.98 mg, like that, such kind of the fraction part you are predicting, then that is directly called as the regression. Okay, so if you are classifying the data in the form of Boolean or this kind of the categorical, that is called as the supervised. But whenever you are classifying the data in the form of continuous, then that is called as the regression, right? Next, what are the various kinds of the classification techniques? The class supervised learning is divided into two types, as we have already discussed. Okay, so that is one is the various kinds of regression and as well as the classification we have discussed in the previous slide. So supervised learning is divided into two parts. One is the classification that we have seen. Another one is the regression. This classification done on Boolean or categorical classes, but regression can be done on continuous scale. And now we are going to see what are the various kinds of the classification techniques. So the various kinds of the classification techniques here, these are listed. Bayesian theorem is also one kind of the classification technique. It is one example of the statistic learning. And decision trees, as I told in the previous slide, it is one example of the inductive learning. And random forest methods, support vector machines, artificial neural networks, In the artificial neural networks, you're having some special kind of the networks. Those are multi-layer perceptrons, back propagations, and k nearest neighborhood algorithms is also one. These are the classification uh, of sorry, these are two examples of the best classification neural networks. And the next one is k nearest neighborhood algorithms and the ensemble learning, as I told in the previous slide, boosting, bagging, and bootstrapping. All these are the examples of various kinds of the classification techniques. And now we are going to discuss what is a regression and what are the regression techniques. This regression can be termed as the linear regression, single linear regression, multiple linear regression, and logistic regression. So, a regression is classified into four different types. Next, we are going to see what is the in coming videos we discuss deeply the various examples of what is linear regression, what is single linear regression, multiple linear regression, and as well as the logistic regression, like that we will see. Okay, and next we are going to see what is the meaning of unsupervised learning. As I told in the previous slides, that is um, the supervised learning is termed as classifying the data on the labeled data, whereas unsupervised learning, the data items does not the data items do not have any kind of the data labels here. So this feature is called as the unsupervised learning. Here, as we discussed previously, the class labels are not priorly known and there is no clarity of the data, and the data is not at all clearly given, and we can make the data into some set of the groups. So unsupervised learning is also called as grouping. This grouping is also called as the clustering. Okay, so how can you group these data items? What is the criteria that you follow to group these data items? This is based on two different criteria. One is the similarity, another one is the distance. Similarity means, for example, you are grouping the all the apples in a fruit basket, all the apples at once, and in the all the bananas at once, all the grapes at once. How can you group them? Based on the similarity. By what kind of the similarity properties you are observing from one fruit to another fruit, the color of the fruit, the size of the fruit, the shape of the fruit, based on different criterias. All these criterias you are classifying, sorry, you are categorizing them as one group. Okay, so this feature is called as the similarity. You're grouping them based on the similarity. What kind of the similarity? The color, shape, size, and species. Okay, and the next one is the distance. So what kind of the distance normally? For example, the large cities will be there. The nearest villages will be clubbed into the villages. They form one kind of the cluster. So what kind of the measure they use? Nearest means what? The less distance. The lesser the distance, they will be merged into the large city. Okay, so what kind of the distance measures normally they will use? One is the Euclidean distance and the second one is the Manhattan distance. Okay, so unsupervised learning is one concept. It is also called as a grouping and as well as the clustering, and this grouping or the clustering can be made up of can be made on two different kinds of the criteria. One is similarity, another one is the distance. In the similarity, the color, size, shape, species, etc. can be taken into the consideration, whereas in the distance, Euclidean distance, Manhattan distance can be taken into the consideration. And now we are going to see what are the unsupervised learning methods. Unsupervised learning methods, it is one of the method that is called as a clustering, and it also called as the grouping. And the second one is association rules. What are the association rules? The how many that is one kind of market basket analysis. That is how many items are associated with another items. That means we are estimating whenever a customer is purchasing one item, is there any chance of purchasing another item is also there or not? For example, a person is going to purchase milk and bread. Is there any chance of purchasing X meat also? Or is there any chance of purchasing vegetables and other food items also? Like that, you can make them some kind of associativity. How one item is associated with another item. Like that, you can make some kind of the association rules. That means you can group them. This is also one kind of the grouping, how one item is grouped with another item, how a collection of the items is grouped with another collection of the items. This feature is known as the association rules. This is also comes under the unsupervised learning mechanism and unsupervised learning technique. Okay, and next we are going to see the next one, that is called as the clustering techniques And these clustering techniques are k-means algorithm is one of the best important clustering technique, and density based clustering technique dbscan. And coming to the artificial neural networks, the neural networks which supports this clustering are coherent neural networks and half field neural networks. These are the very good examples of artificial neural networks which helps to do the clustering. Okay, the important clustering algorithms, the very first one is k-means, very most widely used, and the next one is density based. It is also called as density based algorithm. One of the best algorithm is the dbscan. Okay, so this is the dbscan. Next, we are going to see what are the various association rule algorithms. A priori algorithm and FP growth. FP stands for frequent pattern growth algorithm. These two algorithms are used for association rules. So these are also comes under the clustering and unsupervised learning mechanisms. So unsupervised learning mechanisms are divided into two types. One is the clustering, another one is the association rules. Whereas the supervised learning can be divided into two types. One is the classification, another one is the regression, right? So, and next one is semi-supervised learning. What is the meaning of this semi-supervised learning? It is a combination of both supervised and as well as the unsupervised learning. And here, the very good example is the deep learning. Okay, here what we need to observe is, first of all, it does the unsupervised learning. That means it groups the data items, it groups the various kinds of the different data items based on the distance or based on the similarity. So whenever it groups them, then only it can make the classify, because unsupervised learning can be applied on small data sets, whereas supervised learning can be applicable on small kind of the data elements, whereas the unsupervised learning can be work on large number of the data sets, data items or the data elements. So first of all, we are going to make the grouping or the clustering, that is nothing but unsupervised learning. Then only we can go for the classification or regression, which is nothing but the supervised learning. So semi-supervised learning, it first implements unsupervised and then it goes for supervised learning. Okay, so deep learning can be most widely used semi-supervised learning technique, right? And next one is the reinforcement learning. So what is the meaning of this reinforcement learning? Here we are having certain number of the agents. Okay, so agents can have some characteristics like piece. P in the piece is nothing. P stands for performance of the agent. E stands for environment of the agent, where that particular agent will work. And accutators, how the agent access the information from the, how the agent send the information to the outside. And sensors, how the agent access the information from the outside. But these are the piece of the agents. So here the agent is given a task, and it successfully completes the task, it is rewarded, or else it will be again punished or again redoing the same task. The very good example of these reinforcement learning agents are human agents, machine agents, and as well as the robo agents. So this is one kind of the learning which is also most widely used learning. The very good example of this reinforcement learning is q learning, which we are going to discuss in further videos. Okay, and here also just we discussed, agent is given a task, if it is success it is rewarded, else it is punished. A very good example is q learning, as we discussed previously. Okay, and the next one is deep learning. So what is the deep learning? Deep learning is associated with artificial neural networks. How this artificial neural network structure will be there? The structure of the artificial neural network is made up of three different layers. One is the input layer, and the middle one is the next one is the hidden layer, and the last one is the output layer. So input layer is the first layer, and then is the hidden layer, and the third one is the output layer. Okay, suppose it can have more layers are also there. There is no question that it can have only some layers. It can have multiple layers also as the hidden layers. So that is multiple layered neural artificial neural network then we can have. Okay, these hidden layers can have more amount of the data. Okay, so very good examples of this kind of the neural networks are recurrent neural networks and convolutional neural networks. So, and as well as it is often regarded as a part of the machine learning. Okay, so what is the relation between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and as well as the deep learning? So here we need to discuss some kind of relation among AI, ML, and DL. So deep learning is one subset of the machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence is the superset of ML and as well as the DL. If you consider this one AI, in this AI we can consider this one is the ML and this one is the DL. So this one is what? DL. This is the DL and this is the ML and this one is nothing but AI, right? Like that, these are related with each other. And what is the statistical learning that we are going to see? The very first learning of the supervised learning. Okay, so here the prediction normally can be based on the statistical methods. The very good examples of these statistical methods are Bayesian theorem, probability, and Bayesian belief networks, and classification. What is the classification method that we can use here? Is it is one kind of the classification method actually, and various examples of the statistical methods is grass wet due to rain or sprinklers. For example, yesterday the grass was wet at the behind of the house. It was wet due to rain or due to sprinklers, that we don't know. We need to calculate the probabilistic formula. So if we can have the probabilistic formula as 0.68 as rain and 0.32 as for sprinklers, so which one is considered as the true? We can consider 0.68, which is rain. Okay, so like that the statistical learning can help us to gather the data, to predict the data, to identify which one is the correct solution and to remove the uncertainty. And next one is ship alarm is ringing. In a ship, the alarm is going to ring due to two reasons. The one is near to iceberg, and the second one, there is any fire accident within the ship. So for iceberg, it is giving as 0.91 and 0.9, 0.009 is for the fire is there inside the ship. So which one is considered as the true one? 0.91, that is iceberg which is very near to the ship. So that's why the ship alarm is ringing. Like that you can calculate the probability of this one and probability of happening of that one. So that we can have some set of the values. Based on the largest value, we can estimate that probability. We can identify that because of this thing was happened. This kind of the concept is called as the uncertainty. To handle such kind of the uncertainty situations, this statistical learning can help us in a good manner. Okay, so statistical learning is called is learning is to handle the uncertain situations. And the next one is the inductive learning. So inductive learning, that means f of x is equal to x1, x2, x3, x4 up to xn. At any one of the one particular value, the f of x can get satisfied up to n number of the x. Okay, so this particular feature is called as the inductive learning. Okay, so this is one kind of the supervised learning algorithm, and decision tree and random forest are these both algorithms comes under the inductive learning, and it is also taken from the mathematical induction. Why? Because in the mathematical induction the equation can get satisfied at 1 to n number of the natural numbers, right? So this feature is called as the inductive learning. And the next one is the instance based learning. So what is this instance based learning? The very good example for this instance based learning is k nearest neighborhood algorithms. Okay, so what is the instance here? A new data item that we are going to enter into the data set, that is called as the instance. It is one kind of the supervised learning algorithm. This algorithm learns the data wherever a new data item has joined. It is a supervised learning method, and it is also a classification learning, and it is why it is considered as the one of the efficient algorithm among all other algorithms is this classification can be done whenever a new data item is going to be joined in the data. So this is the set of the pool of the data items. The entire data can be classified whenever the new data item, sorry, whenever the new data item can get joined in it, then only it can be joined. And the another name of this instance based learning is also called as the lazy learning. Okay, so because of this classification of all the data items, including new data item, it is going to classifying, and the classification is also can be done very fastly, so it is considered as one of the advanced and efficient algorithm among the all algorithms. The very good example for this is k nearest neighborhood algorithms. How can it classifies? Again, it classifies based on the similarity and as well as the distance. So which is the nearest one to this, based on that it can be classified, which is similar to this one, based on this it can be classified like this. So KNN is one of the most important algorithm of the classification. It is also comes under the instance based learning. And the next one is ensemble learning. So what is the meaning of ensemble learning? Ensemble is nothing but a collection. So what is the meaning of ensemble learning? It is a collection of the algorithms to improve the performance of the various kinds of the algorithms. So it is also called as one kind of the supervised learning mechanisms. So what are the various techniques that we can use for this unsupervised, sorry, for this ensemble learning that we are going to use is boosting, bootstrapping, bagging, that is also called as bootstrapping aggregation. Okay, so this is the ensemble learning. So all these are the supervised learning methods and also called as the classification techniques. And here how the supervised learning can be done pictorially, here it is shown. Supervised learning done can be used, can be done how it is are the classes. Okay, the classification can be done like this. Unsupervised learning, these are the groups, we can group the data items like this. And semi supervised learning, which is the combination of the classification and as well as the clustering. So supervised and as well as the unsupervised learning, it can be done like this. So look at the boundaries, the classification, the data items labels are clearly known so that we can group them into the set of the classes. Here the class labels are not clearly known, so that's why we group them based on the similarity or based on the distance. Here the grouping can be done based on the nearest items, which that means distance. Okay, so here the both the classification and clustering are supervised and unsupervised learning can be done clearly. This is nothing but the semi-supervised learning. So what is the training and what is the testing? Okay. See, a training set, entire data set, whatever we have taken, that can be divided into the, this is called as the universal data set or also called as the unobserved data set. So this unobserved data set can be divided into two types. One is the training set, observed, and another one is the testing set, which is not observed, which is going to be tested. So what is the training set? The data items which are perfectly classified, which are clearly classified, that we can take some set. That set is called as the training set, which is called as the fully observed set. And this testing set can, this training set can be applied on the test set to get the new data elements which is classified. So testing set is nothing but unobserved set. So we can make some percentage, that is 70-30 or 80-20 percentage as the training set and as well as the test set of the data items. Okay, this training data will act as the model of the data. Why we can take this training data, how we can collect the training data, the fully solved, fully classified examples that we can take in the training. So these are act as a model of the data. Okay, and the data which is going to be test, we are doing the practical on the data, that is called as the testing data. So here we need to remember one rule, the training data should be more, the testing data will be less. That means in the data set of the 100 tuples, we have 70 training set and as well as the 30 testing set. Then we can classify all the 30 data sets in a clear manner. Okay, and once again we see another kind of the this is another diagram which shows the supervised learning. So what is the meaning of this supervised learning? So training, the label data will be there. Here see, training and text documents and label data we can do, and featured set, here it is given. This is we are applying on the machine learning algorithm and the predictive model. And here new text document, image, sound, new feature vector is given. Then expected label, the data item will be mapped. So we have to provide the labels, we have to provide the feature set, everything to the machine learning algorithm. And this machine learning algorithm will predict a model. Based on the model, it can map the data item into any one of the respective label. That is called as supervised learning. And what is clustering here? In the clustering, there are no set of the label concept is not there. You provide the features to the machine learning algorithm. It generates a model, and this model based groups the data into some set of the clusters based on the clustering similarity and based on the distance. Okay, so this is unsupervised learning. And what is semi-supervised learning? As we discussed, it is a combination of both, and initially supervised learning can be done and later unsupervised learning can be done. And next, what is reinforcement learning? Learning a policy, a sequence of outputs. Here we have to see, and no supervised output but delayed reward. What are the various examples of this reinforcement learning is credit assignment, game playing, robot in environment, multiple agents, and partial observability. All these are considered as various examples of this reinforcement learning. And what is statistical learning? So here statistical learning, the data is considered to be a sample of the probability distribution. Typically, we don't expect perfect learning, but only probability correct learning. Statistical learning concepts are the key to measure our expected performance on on novel problem instances. The very good examples of this statistical learning is Bayesian learning, Bayesian theorem, and Bayesian belief networks, as we discussed priorly. And what is the inductive learning? As we discussed in the previously, a function is given as x comma f of x. So predict the function f of x at particular value of the x. Okay. So the best example of this inductive learning, decision tree and the random forests. Okay. And what are the various machine learning libraries that we can use in the Python? Are the very first one is the NumPy, numerical Python, and SciPy, statistical Python, and very important one is the scikit-learn, scientific Python, and open source for machine learning algorithms. And the next one is Theano, used for mathematical operations in the Python. Okay. And the next one is TensorFlow, which is open source for machine learning and artificial intelligence, and Keras, a deep learning application programming interface, which is running on top of the machine learning platform, and PyTorch, it is a framework based on the Torch library, which is used for NLP, natural language processing, and computer vision. So another one is the Pandas, Python data analysis, and Matplotlib, and Cban for the data visualizations. So all these are the machine learning libraries that we are going to see. NumPy, SciPy, Scikit-learn, Theano, TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch, Pandas, Matplotlib, Cban. So these are the various machine learning libraries that we are going to use for machine learning applications in the Python. So this is the video of the machine learning methods. My intention of giving this video is those who doesn't know anything about the machine learning, I consider that my video gives at least some idea to them, so that they can learn further another kind of the videos, they can learn another kind of the machine learning techniques. I think this video help the people who are at the beginning level, who are at the starting learners. This will help you a lot, I think. If you have any queries, please do comments at the comment section, and you can make queries also. And my further videos, I will complete all the other kind of the machine learning algorithms, including Python also. So thank you for watching. Thank you for patient listening. Thank you one and all.